This episode was brought to you by ProCare Hanoi, the phone and laptop repair shop trusted by the expat community. Fast service, clear communication, and honest advice, exactly what you need when your tech starts to sweat. This podcast is a labor of love, and if you found value in any of the episodes, I'd love your support. Buy me a coffee is the simplest way to say thanks, and trust me, every single cup keeps me going. Just scan the QR code in the podcast cover art. And to those who've already supported, huge thanks. You're fueling this journey. Okay, so let's be honest. When you see a deep dive topic pop up in your feed, you're probably expecting something, I don't know, high tech, maybe geopolitics, or some new productivity hack.
Right, something to optimize your life.
Exactly. But today we're looking at something that, if I'm being real, most of us spend a lot of energy trying not to look at.
It's the one universal experience we collectively spend billions trying to avoid, delay, or just plain hide.
We are talking about aging. And look, I get it. The instinct is probably to hit skip, because who wants to think about future wrinkles or why their back hurts after sleeping funny? But stick with us, because the source material we're walking through today, excerpts from The Wisdom of Time, Mindful Aging and Graceful Change, is genuinely surprising.
We're focusing on a section called Mindfulness and Aging, and it's not the typical eat more blueberries advice.
No, it's not.
It's much more fundamental. Usually when we talk about aging, the whole conversation is it's dominated by denial. It's about fighting it or fixing it.
Or just ignoring it.
Exactly. But the mission here in this text is to shift the entire paradigm. It wants to move us from a mindset of, denial and fear to one of awareness and grace.
Which sounds lovely on paper, but I read that and my first thought was, wow, that is a heavy lift. Society doesn't exactly pat you on the back for getting older.
Not at all.
It usually tells you you're losing relevance. So this perspective, framing it as a necessary evolution, it felt radically different to me.
It is radical. And what's fascinating here is how the source treats mindfulness. It's not just a stress ball you squeeze. It's presented as a critical tool, like a necessary tool for navigating the inevitable.
So let's unpack that, because the text starts by sort of identifying the enemy. It calls it the societal default, basically, that we're brainwashed from when we're kids to see getting older as this purely negative thing.
Right. Just think about the language we use. We fight aging. We buy anti-aging products. The source points out we're taught to see every sign, gray hair moving slower, as a loss, a subtraction.
It's always defined by the deficit, isn't it? You lost your hair, you lost your energy, and the text makes a really sharp point. This whole frame creates a state of constant resistance.
We're at war with our own timeline, and that war is just exhausting. If your baseline for good is young, then every single day you're failing a little more. That is a recipe for misery. But this is where the source pivots. It offers a counter view.
An accumulation.
Yes, exactly. It suggests viewing aging not as loss, but as an accumulation of experience, perspective, and depth. And it uses a very specific phrase that I think is the anchor for this whole idea.
The happening to you versus unfolding within you.
That's the one.
I paused on that too. Because when my knee clicks, it definitely feels like something is happening to me, like an attack.
And that's the default. That makes us victims, right? Time is this external force, and our body is a crumbling fortress we're trying to patch up.
It's a defensive posture.
Totally. But if we reframe it as unfolding within us, it reclaims some agency. It's not an attack, it's an internal process. Like a tree adding rings, it changes you from a victim of time to a participant in it.
I have to admit, at first that sounded a bit like a motivational poster,
Yeah.
It's unfolding within you.
I get that.
But the more I sat with it, I realized it's actually a psychological strategy. If it's internal, then I have some say in how I relate to it.
Exactly. You can't control the clock. That's the one thing you can't control. But you can control your relationship with the changes. You stop seeing a damaged version of your younger self and maybe start seeing a deepened version of your current self.
Okay, but let's get real for a second. Let's not float away on philosophy here. The source material doesn't shy away from the gritty stuff.
No, it doesn't.
It's not saying mindset cures arthritis. It explicitly mentions things like fatigue arriving sooner, recovery taking longer.
Yes, and I really appreciated that honesty. If it just said it's all in your head, it would be useless. Instead, it highlights this idea that as we age, the body speaks more clearly.
Oh, that resonated. In your 20s, your body just sort of whispers. You can ignore it.
You can pull an all-nighter, eat terrible food.
And your body's just like, But later, it yells.
The signals become impossible to ignore, and that raises the most critical question. How do we respond? The source gives us two paths. The first is resistance, pushing through.
Which is what we're told to do. No pain, no gain, mind over matter.
Right. We're told to just push harder. In our culture, that's often called being a high performer.
Yeah, but the source calls it denial.
That's the trap. We conflate ignoring our needs with strength, but the source argues it's actually fragility. The second path is listening without judgment.
The mindful approach.
And here's the nugget I found so valuable. The source says that responding to these changes with care is often mistaken for weakness, but it's actually wisdom.
That is a huge reframe. Because I think a lot of us feel guilty when we have to slow down. We feel like we're failing.
We do.
Like, I used to be able to do X, now I can only do Y, therefore I am worse.
But the text is saying, no, ignoring the signal from your body, that's the failure. Respecting the signal is the win. It's wisdom.
So if I treat my body like a machine I'm angry at for breaking down.
You're doubling the suffering. You have the physical pain plus the emotional anger at the pain.
Whereas if you treat it like a partner that just needs different care now,
Yeah.
you remove that emotional layer.
You reduce the struggle.
Okay, so let's move this from concept to action. The source outlines a specific reflection practice for those moments when you realize, oh, I can't do what I used to.
It's a very simple two-step process, but simple doesn't mean easy. Step one is to bring a specific change to mind. Physical, like back pain, or emotional, like feeling less tolerance for loud crowds.
Okay, so I'm focusing on the fact that I can't recover from a workout like I used to. I'm sore for 3 days instead of 1.
Perfect. Now, step two, notice the resistance, that knee-jerk internal voice that says, I hate this, this is unfair, this isn't me.
That voice is usually screaming.
Right. And usually we get stuck there. But the source asks us to go one step further. It offers a mantra. This too is part of being alive.
This too is part of being alive. It's such a quiet sentence.
It is, but look what it does. It connects your personal discomfort to the universal experience. It stops you from taking it so personally, and the instruction that comes with it is physiological. Let the body soften, let the breath steady.
You're physically dropping the tension.
You are. And what I love is the promise the source makes. It doesn't say your back will stop hurting. It's not magic.
It's not a painkiller.
No. The source says acceptance doesn't remove the difficulty. The difficulty is real, but it removes the unnecessary struggle.
The struggle being the mental anguish, the spinning thoughts, the why me.
Exactly. There's pain, which is inevitable, and then there's suffering, which is our emotional reaction to the pain. This practice is about peeling away the suffering.
It's like, okay, my knee hurts. Fact. I am old and broken, and it's all downhill from here. That's the story.
Perfectly put. Mindfulness cuts the story and just leaves the knee. And that frees up so much energy.
Speaking of energy, the source then transitions into aging well in daily life. And the first pillar is pacing.
Moving at a pace that respects the body rather than fighting it. This goes right back to that wisdom versus weakness idea.
And that leads to the next one, which I think is the hardest for most of us, rest. And specifically choosing rest without guilt.
Oof. That without guilt part is the killer.
It really is. I mean, how many of us can just sit down in the middle of the day and rest without checking email, without feeling like we should be doing laundry?
Without that low-level anxiety that we're wasting time, it's so hard because we've equated our human worth with our economic output.
Right.
But the source challenges us to value presence over productivity.
Presence over productivity. What does that actually look like for someone who's worked hard their whole life?
I think it means redefining a successful hour. It could be solving a work problem, sure, but it might also be just sitting in a chair, looking out a window, fully present. The source argues that as we age, our capacity for that kind of deep presence actually increases if we let it.
But we block it.
Yeah.
Which brings up the third pillar, the comparison trap.
Yes, and it's not just comparing yourself to your neighbor, it's comparing yourself to your former self.
The ghost of you at 25.
Exactly. The text says to stop using your younger self as the benchmark. If you're 60 and mad that you can't run as fast as you did when you were 20, you are stealing joy from your present.
You're judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
You are. And the text concludes that section with a really beautiful thought. Each stage of life carries its own kind of strength. If you're obsessed with the strength you had, physical stamina, you'll miss the strength you have, which might be patience or insight.
You know, it's funny, as we're talking about this, about maintenance and care and patience with a system that's been running a long time, I'm actually reminded of the sponsor the source mentioned, ProCare Hanoi.
Oh, that's right. The thematic connection.
Yeah, it was a surprisingly deep analogy for a tech repair shop. The idea was, just as we care for our tools, our laptops, with patience and long-term thinking. We have to apply that same maintenance mindset to ourselves.
It makes sense. When your laptop slows down, you don't just smash it against a wall, hopefully.
Hopefully not.
You clean it up, maybe replace a battery. You treat it with care because you understand its limitations. We rarely extend that same patience to our own biology.
No, we just get mad at it. Why are you buffering? Why is the battery draining so fast?
We need to be our own best technicians. Treat the system with kindness. Run the diagnostics, but don't hate the hardware.
So let's zoom out. We started with that dread we all feel about aging. We reframed it from a tragic loss to an internal unfolding.
Which is the critical mental shift.
We talked about how listening to your body isn't weakness, it's actually a power move, a strategy. And we've touched on this daily practice of presence and resting without guilt.
It's a comprehensive shift, moving from a battle against time to a partnership with it.
And for me, the biggest takeaway is that the struggle's optional. The aging isn't. The gray hair is coming, the slower recovery is coming. That's just physics.
Yeah.
But the misery, the story, this is all terrible.
That's the part we're adding to the mix. And if we can subtract that misery, we open up space for something else. Grace. And surprisingly, satisfaction. Because you aren't trying to be something you're not.
So here's a question for you to chew on. We talked about presence over productivity and stopping the fight. If you stop using your energy to fight the reality of aging, if you just put down the armor and accepted where you are right now, what new strength, specific to this stage of your life, might you discover?
Because there is strength there. You just might be too busy fighting the old battles to see it.
That's it for this deep dive. The source material encourages us to meet our next year, whatever number that is, with awareness, kindness, and respect. And honestly, I can't think of better advice than that.
Agreed.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next one.